Welcome back to Making Money Matter, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. Hope you've all had a fabulous Christmas, bit of a break, a wonderful start to 2025. Cannot believe that here we are. Christmas is gone, New Year's gone, even my birthday's gone. Yes, I am another year older. But over the break, I was checking the analytics for this channel. And when we first started, about 80% of you that watched the content were not subscribers. Now, that's improved a little bit, but it's still 60% on average of people don't subscribe to the channel. So shout out to all of you out there. Please hit the subscribe and the like button. Why? Because the bigger the channel gets, the better content I can bring you. Not that Tony isn't absolutely fabulous, but Tony's not going to come on forever if, I don't continue to grow and develop. So my thing for you is please make sure you hit the subscribe button, because today we're going to be talking all things gold. And for those of you that often comment to me, gold is so expensive right now, I say, against what? I'm wearing my gold jacket today. We've got the Gold Coast Gold Conference coming up on the 13th and 14th of March here on the Gold Coast. That's why it's called Gold Coast Gold. And it'll be at QT. You can go to goldevents.com.au, book your tickets right now. Because we've still got the early bird going. It's going to be a fantastic program. And only yesterday, I confirmed that we have a gentleman by the name of Daniel Want. And Daniel is extraordinary in his analysis of the data, and he will explain to you why he believes that gold will outperform property over the next 10 years. You do not want to miss that. Now, Tony Locantro is also going to be at Gold Coast Gold, and Tony is going to talk to you about what you need to look for. Tony's been in this market for lots of years. He's seen the cycles. He knows what's going on. He knows all of the companies that are going to be presenting, companies such as Sunshine Metals, Adelong Gold, who else? We have Medallion Metals, Many Peak Minerals. We've got, who else have we got? We've got the Melbourne Cup coming. There's so much going on the Thursday, the 13th, Friday, the 14th of March. We've done it on a Thursday and a Friday because if you're coming from out of state, you can stay on the beautiful Gold Coast and hang out at the beaches and have a great time. March is a beautiful time to be on the Gold Coast. So that's a little promo for you, because I think what we've put together, first time that we've done this, we normally do it in Sydney, but we brought it up here to the Gold Coast. So we need all of you to support this event so that we can continue to bring it to you every year, because the next decade is, in my opinion, and I'm not a financial advisor, but the next decade is going to be a decade where you do not want to not understand why gold is money and everything else is credit. So sit up, take some notice. Tony Locantro, good to you. Welcome back. Happy New Year.
Yeah, great to be back. Great to get back with your viewers. And it's funny that often you think January is going to be quiet, but I've had the two busiest days in years, back to back.
Oh, really?
Back to back. Insanity. Turns out 81 tickets. I think in one 4-hour period there, I had 68 phone calls.
That's crazy.
And like WTF, but a US fund was selling Saturn Metals. They had millions to sell.
Yep.
I just got on the phone, and I have a terrible saying in the industry, buy it till your nose bleeds. But it was like buy, get hit, reload, try and make a phone call, ring clients. It was 2 days of absolute helter-skelter broking activity. And I should say that we got probably 2/3 of that volume from the seller.
Explain to the viewers why you were so keen to get your clients into Saturn Metals. And by the way, I believe Saturn Metals will also be at Gold Coast Gold, but I think at that time when they were selling this, the stock price was about 18, 19 cents. Yeah. So it closed today at 21.
20. Yeah, look, the stock was in the mid-20s.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they announced that a drilling contractor died.
Yeah.
On site, which was tragic. And Ian and the team at Saturn are lovely people, and obviously you just cease all operations.
Yeah.
And, the share price, look, it's a liquid stock and it's very hard to buy on market without forcing it up. I looked through the notices. These guys were selling and then it intensified. And I mean, this is a once in every 5-year opportunity to get a massive stake in one of the highest quality gold companies on the market.
Wow, that's a big call, Tony.
Well, it's in front of me. It's in front of me. Saturn, in my opinion, now 2025 is the year of Locantro making calls. I'm just going to make big calls. I'm going to tell exactly how it is. I'm not going to hold back. Saturn, I believe, is the makings of a mini Capricorn.
Wow.
BMM. If anyone wants to look at how a company starts with a low-grade gold mine, look at the trajectory of Capricorn.
Okay.
Go have a serious look at it. They have Apollo Hill. It's up to about 1.84 million ounces. All the results have been solid. There should be a resource upgrade. Now, the market cap's about 62, 63 million. For a company with 2 million ounces, in the one blob of ore, that's where the real cheesecake is, guys. They don't have it in 10, 11 pits. It's this beautiful ore. It's low grade. It's amenable to heap leaching. They're going to prove that.
Explain heap leaching for people that actually are new to this industry and may not know what the hell that means. They might think, is that something to do with drugs? Explain that.
Well, there's probably more money in drugs, but it's just the gold's extracted via acid. It's not your traditional crushing, and it's quite a different operation. I think people should Google how it works, but about 60% of the world's gold is done via heap leaching.
But not so much in Australia. I don't think that Australian investors fully understand that overseas, heap leaching is very common for extracting gold. But for some reason in this country, what we do a lot is we crush and grind and put it through the mill. It's a different process. So people are a little bit confused, do you think?
Well, they just don't know about it. And there's been, Saturn's had good research coverage. I know one broking firm ditched it, not based on the potential. It's just based on Australian investors don't get heap leaching.
Right.
But the pre-economic study that Ian Bambra put out showed huge financial returns, a short payback period, and the technology's off the shelf. So I looked at I did the fundamental analysis. And then suddenly when a fund decides to drop millions of shares in the market, and I just bought in insane fashion to get as many clients set as I could.
Yep.
And it's actually hard work. I don't think people realize the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. I created emails, I sent them out over the weekend. And then I got up at 4 a.m., which is when pre-open is here in Perth, and started putting the orders on the market.
Wow.
And what I worked out was if I bid for a large amount of stock at, say, 18 cents, then the seller would take 10 minutes to fill me in. So I could go for a bit of a bathroom break and have a bit of a break. But I haven't bought like that in years.
Okay.
Often for me as a broker, it's the reverse. I go back to 2007. When Ramilius discovered Wattle Dam. And it was the biggest gold intersection I've ever seen. And I accumulated about a quarter of the company for mums and dads. And the stock went 50 times. Wow. And I think that month, I did $140,000 in brokerage, whereas in a good year, you'd be lucky to pull $20,000 a month. So that's how intense it gets. But I backed myself. I backed my judgment. The seller provided the stock. Even I'd be happy to pay up to 20 cents, 21 for this. I just think it's the type of stock that you back the fundamentals, you back Bambra, and you ride the tide. And a lot of clients that got in for the first time at 18 cents probably think, oh, now it's 20, it's easy. But when you buy a new stock, it's like a new relationship, Kerry. You go through that wild dating period, heaps of sex, and then suddenly it dies. Suddenly it dies. You realise that the other person squeezes the toothpaste from the wrong end. or they don't put the toilet seat down.
Ah, that's the
start
one.
to have issues.
Don't put the toilet
Start
seat
to have
down.
issues. But a long-term relationship with the stock
Yep.
is like a human relationship. There's going to be tantrums. It's going to drop on days. They're going to raise capital at the wrong price. People on the internet are going to say bad things about it. But no one ever made a shitload on the small caps without owning the stock. And that's the number one barrier that we've just overcome, because the fund had to sell. It's not as if they don't believe in the fundamentals. And I was there to pick up probably about 2/3 of the barrage. Those that got in and bought whilst I was having a break, good luck to you. But that's just a once in 5 years for me. And I'm happy to say that we're mission accomplished.
Okay.
I've put a Band-Aid on the stock now, and you wouldn't have thought that event happened.
All right.
Well, really happy with that. And that's easily my lead-off gold stock.
And I think that's a lead-off gold stock. And I think one of the things that I want people to be aware of is the reason we want to bring the conference to the Gold Coast is so that you can meet these people face to face, that you can look them in the eye, ask them the questions. And I quite often say to people, even if you don't know there's no such thing as a dumb question. If you're new to having a look at putting some of your hard-earned wealth, and it is your wealth, you need to know what it is that you are putting your wealth into. And the best way to do that is to ask the questions. Now, Tony's going to be there for the 2 days. And so, grab Tony. And if you're not quite sure what to do, then you can become a client of Tony's. And I'm not saying that this is not a plug for you, Tony, necessarily, but all I'm saying is if you're feeling a bit lazy, then let Tony do the work for you. Okay. There's going to be a lot of other companies there as well. We've got Barton Gold, who've got a fantastic opportunity down in South Australia. We're still finalizing the last bits and pieces of the puzzle, so to speak. But, we've got Rob Murdoch. He's going to be talking about what gold stocks to watch. We've got Sunshine Metals, which is up here in Queensland. I've told you about Barton Gold. Many Peaks Minerals will also be there. We've got someone talking about property and gold. Why not both? Adelong, Medallion, Iltani Resources, which has got this massive silver. And of course, one of Tony's favorites, Maronan Metals, will be there as well. So I know, Tony, you like Maronan Metals because talking about it.
But getting back to it, in terms of new client growth, 2024 was my worst on record.
Yeah, you said.
Which is fine. It's just an indicator that there's no interest, and I can then reassure my current clients that we're nowhere near any top when people aren't signing up. And what normally happens is the clients I put into Spartan at 11 cents and sold at $1.40. They mustn't have any friends or referrals, because I didn't hear boo from anyone. but when people start making money, they go to events, they start talking to their mates, and suddenly everyone wants to sign up at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather have signed 1 or 2 decent people a year at the bottom, because when stocks are running and I'm running out of ideas, that's when people want me the most. And unfortunately, humans are pre-wired to buy high and sell low.
I know.
And that I'm the circuit breaker. So I'm fighting people trying their hardest to go broke. And that's a constant psychological battle. A lot of these phone calls, I'm a salesman. I have to ring up a client and say, look, buy Saturn Metals now. And they'll say, why? And then I'll rattle off my sales pitch. And if they don't act within that 30 seconds, someone else will buy it. So, but as I say to a lot of people, it's very hard to do this yourself, because everything looks attractive at the top and everything looks attractive at the bottom. So my focus is, if I don't get a new client this year, it just means another year of building on the clients I do have, the clients that I work with. And of course, I put out probably more information on social media than most in the industry.
Yeah.
But there are going to be a couple of stocks throughout the year that I don't mention because things change, things are fluid, and I need to look after clients that pay my air conditioning bill and keep Lockie in private school for his final year. So anyway.
All right.
It's all good.
You don't just look at gold, but what we're doing right now, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, is this session is purely about gold and silver
Well,
and a cough.
and a cough. All I have to do is give viewers 5 stocks, right? I don't have to tell you to buy everything. I'm going to give you 5 stocks. We've covered Saturn.
Yep.
Saturn are 20 cents. Locantro's clients just bought millions between 18 and 20 cents.
Yep.
You are not the 13th man on the deal team. You are still buying at a very cheap price when I think if Ian is allowed to develop Apollo Hill and he turns into a mini Capricorn, 1 or 2 cents here ain't going to matter.
Correct.
At all. At all. Right. So the other 4 stocks, right? Strap yourselves in, people. Now, Aurumin has been a bit of a problem child for me. It's now about 6.2 cents. There is interest in the Sandstone project. I know a lot of my clients hold. We did buy it down around 2 cents. Mind you, it was a lot higher. But the new managing director, Daniel Rahani, is buying a lot of stock. And last I saw, his notice was up to about 74 million shares. I know Petronas have emerged as a major shareholder, and I know that there's going to be further consolidation in Sandstone. So that, for us now, it's developing into a bit of a corporate play, but clients had months to average down. I mean, 960,000 ounces of gold, and the share price was absolutely capitulated, like a lot of the.
Is that why Brad left, Brad Valukas, because he was the previous managing director? Do you know anything about?
Yeah, he was the previous managing director. He certainly had a long-term vision.
Yep.
And I think now it's more a game of a corporate shuffle, perhaps. And I think Brad's highly regarded in the industry, and I think he'll do well.
Okay.
But at the moment, it's like our involvement with Aurumin's not going to be like a long-term marriage where you see yourself on the news with an old photo. It's going to be more like a bit of a medium-term affair on the side with that. Because you've got to look at these things. It's all corporate chess. Sandstone's going to heat up. There's all these players. If not,
who are the players there? You said Petronas.
Brightstar. Brightstar.
Okay.
Brightstar went into Alto Metals. No relation to who I work for.
Yeah.
You've got Westgold.
Okay.
I mean, there's millions of ounces in that Sandstone region, and it's going to play out. And what I'm liking is seeing that Daniel keeps buying. They just did a placement at 5.5 cents. No one heard about it because it was open and shut. And it's just one of those plays where they've got huge potential. They've also got the iron ore potential as well. So for my clients and for viewers, it's a firm hold for us, but we're going to be riding out, hopefully, we're going to see some results of the assets and their potential.
Okay.
And I'm going to surprise people now that my stock of the year call is Red Metal.
Oh.
Now, Red Metal are going to they're kind of a de facto gold stock, Kerry.
Yeah.
They have a project in the Pilbara called Pardue, which is similar to what Hemi developed into. Hemi ended up 10.6 million ounces now, the sign of a takeover from Northern Star in the billions. And this Pardue project has massive potential. Hopefully Red Metal can drill it this year, maybe in the first half, hopefully. And we're going to find out if there's Hemi style gold in that area. And this is the first time in a long time that Red Metal briefly is going to be a gold stock. And that fits right in. And guess what? It also fits in with the fact that they own just under 44% of Maronan, which is my favorite silver stock. It actually has a separate gold component. But if you look at Maronan, it's arguably Australia's one of the best undeveloped silver projects in Australia. It's about 90 clicks from Cannington, which produces 6% of the world's silver. So it does have strategic appeal. It has a shallow starter zone. So you've got a lot of the world's best silver mines are in fact lead mines.
Yes.
So you produce the lead, the ore's soft, it's beautiful. They're going to come up with a scoping study, and we have a copper gold component as well. But when I throw it into the silver mix and look at that deposit where it is near Cloncurry, I just think Maronan's going to be the scene of activity.
Okay.
And I'm kind of hoping that they can release their scoping study, show the economics of the project. Then they can, once you get the resources up from inferred to indicated, which means you're more confident about it, then hopefully the market can see the value.
Yeah.
But viewers, don't take my word for it. Go have a look at the GBA research report that Trent Allen did with a 95-cent valuation on Maronan.
Okay.
Worth reading. I know the share price is 24, but that's the market, Kerry. And I really respect what Richard Carlton and the team are doing.
Yep.
He's working towards making that deposit a mine as quickly as possible. He's getting through all the boring shit that no one likes, all your permitting, flora, fauna, all that, all those handbrakes. But people say, well, then moving at snail's pace. Well, that's complete bullshit because we still have drilling results to come. We have a scoping study. And what the Maronan project brings is optionality, options to be a standalone, options to truck the ore. But they hold all the cards because they have the resource. And I'm sure someone else will want that resource one day. So let's recap them. Aurumin, Saturn, Red Metal, and Maronan. So they're the four. The fifth one now.
Oh, we got a 5. Okay.
We've got 5. It's 5 for the price of 4. I don't know. It sounds like a rug salesman, don't I? But Everest Metals.
Oh.
Everest Metals code is EMC. Now, I have started to mention this on social media. Now, Everest Metals is run by Mark Caruso.
Oh, yeah.
He's a bit of a company builder. He was one of the early investors in Fortescue. And he also built Allied Mining and Processing, which I believe was taken out by St. Barbara. I don't have the figure, but it was in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
And it was funny. Mark's very colourful. He's probably one of the most no bullshit people I've met, along with Kerry Amanis. And that's saying
I love Kerry. Yeah.
Oh, Kerry's awesome.
I'm going to say Kerry Stevenson. Woo!
Well, Kerry, yeah. And Mark said to me, he said, you might not have met me, but you'll never forget me. And I caught up with him via Zoom or Teams. And I'm thinking, wow, this guy is hands-on. He's serious. Okay. They have the Revere Gold Project in WA. It has an exploration target of 333,000 ounces of gold. They've just put a small gecko plant on there.
Oh, yeah.
It's 10 tons per hour. So they're stockpiling the dirt. They're going to start to hopefully commission it and get some gold production out of that.
Okay.
Now, I'm hopeful that Revere is much bigger than the 333,000 ounce target. So they're going to drill out that mine along the way. They also have a gold project called Mount Dimer, which it's not the asset that Aurumin sold. This is a separate one. That certainly could generate some cash as a toll treatment operation as well. So you've got one big gold project they're going to drill out. You've got a smaller one that could help self-fund the exploration. And they do have a commodity called rubidium.
What's that?
Rubidium, it's again, your viewers are going to have to do some research on it. The overall market is less than 2 tons per annum.
Okay.
The world market for rubidium is tiny, and it's used in military applications. They have the Mount Eden critical resource in WA, and they are working on terms of getting that extraction with ECU, a university here. So that certainly adds some X factor to Everest Metals. Now
And
I
and
did
just
mention,
a
yep,
sorry to interrupt you, but just a fun fact here: rubidium is actually more expensive than gold.
yes,
Just a fun fact. Sorry, I interrupted.
yeah. But again, it's a tiny market because
True.
you can't have a market for it if there's no supply.
Yep.
And this just adds a heap of X factor to Everest. It's like, who would have thought that niobium would have been the scene of WA1 going 12 cents to $20, for Christ's sake.
Insane.
So
Insane.
insanity. And suddenly everyone's a niobium expert and we see all these projects, but this just adds another element to Everest when you're chasing a huge amount of gold. It's more the Victorian Reef nuggety gold. It's a different style of gold for WA. They've got their targets. They're going to put it through the Gecko. It's only a 10 ton per hour plant. It's one of those modular plants. They have put some photos up of it. And again, if you want to do further research, you can look at online. I know there's another analyst that covers Everest because I do a bit of work for Stockhead.
Yep.
And Guy LePage loves Everest. And fun fact, he pretty much gave me my first stockbroking job in 1998. Guy LePage, he's a likable larrikin guy, but he loves Everest. So he's put out some videos on that. Viewers, go and do some research. Look at rubidium. Look at the history of management, and look at what that Revere project could hold. So I'm going to finish off. I'm going to repeat my 5 stocks. Saturn Metals, which I said buy to your nosebleed, and my nose was certainly bleeding, Kerry. I just bought everything, and I'd still be a buyer of Saturn. Aurumin for the corporate play. Red Metal has a gold target.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have 4.795 billion tons of rare earths near Mount Isa, don't even worry about that. And they own 44% of Maronan, which has arguably the best silver exposure in Australia. I know other companies will disagree with me. Well,
we've got and I agree with you, but Iltani have just come out with some fairly spectacular silver results as well. I just want to point out that they will also be at Gold Coast Gold. So there's a couple of options for people there. I know Maronan's your favorite one, but
yep,
my favorite one at the moment is Maronan and Iltani. But anyway, keep going.
There you go. And Everest. So Saturn, Aurumin, Red Metal, Maronan, Everest. And I can tell you what, my job's done for viewers. There's plenty to research there.
Yep.
I'm back. I'm actually in fine form, and I must say that this is I'm coming into my 3rd year without a sip of alcohol, right?
Wow. Well done, you.
And I'm able to operate
at
to
warp
the capacity.
speed.
Not many people could do what I did over those 2 days, Kerry. And you have to be sober, you have to be mentally tough, and you have to be happy. If you're feeling depressed, you're not going to buy a gold stock that's getting the shit beaten out of it. You have to be upbeat. If you're not feeling good, put on some uplifting music when you're trading. Because the worst decisions you make are when you're sad. And I just hope that this year, Christmas time, clients will see the work I've done and I get more than 0 this year. There you go.
Mate, I hope you do.
More than 0, Kerry.
You do a lot for this industry, and look, I appreciate you, and I know you're coming across to Gold Coast Gold. You're going to be speaking to the audience, and also you'll be chairing. But it's also time for people to look, guys. I don't want you to just pick Tony's brains, but if you want to, let him do the work for you, and then life gets a little bit easier. But as Tony said, most people buy high and sell low. So if you do become a client of Tony's, then do as you're told. You don't turn around and say, right, Tony, I want to be your client, and then ignore what he tells you. Because
I think you got to look at it as it's going to be a bit like a marriage. There's going to be ups and downs.
Yep.
I was talking to Juliana today about how some of my clients generally are good, but then they'll have bad days. They'll get a bit moody. They'll get a bit pissed at me. But I'm doing my best. And when you're a contrarian, a lot of the time you're going to look wrong. You're going to look wrong. You're going to be underwater. Then suddenly, bada bing, bada boom, things happen, and away you go. So as long as there's no crime in being a terrible stockbroker.
But also, Tony, but
as
also,
long as you're ethical, tell the truth, tell people the truth. Don't break the friggin' law. And I don't.
Yeah. And
I'm honest. And sometimes a big exploration project won't come in. But then suddenly one will come in and then everyone's a millionaire. So all you got to do is do your best. And I really, appreciate the opportunity here. It's great. And I can't wait for this conference. I love the QT. It's got the best vibe, Kerry. Best vibe.
That's why I chose it. It's quirky. Yeah. It's got a great vibe. The Melbourne Cup will be up there as well, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be able to touch and hold and feel it because Cameron Bain from Mincor is going to bring it up. We're going to have lots of security, so don't get any funny ideas. And we're going to do some quirky stuff along the way. But the most important thing that you are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, when you come to the event, it's not just about the small caps companies that will be there, but it's also your chance to understand why gold is going to be something that you cannot ignore in the coming decade. And when you listen to Daniel Want, when you listen to Tony Locantro, when you really get to understand and be educated, this is going to be the best 2 days of education that you will ever have. So I want to see all of you people from the Gold Coast and beyond. We look forward to seeing you at Gold Coast Gold. Go to goldevents.com.au. But don't forget, as I said at the start, hit subscribe. I don't want 60% of you that are not subscribers watching my content. But Tony Locantro from Alto Capital, we'll see you again next month. And then we'll see you in person in March at Gold Coast Gold. But thanks for joining me today on Making Money Matter.
Always a pleasure. See you, Kerry.